Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Heart of the Swarm 1 vs 1 matchup brought to you by ESC.GoOdy and me, your host, DOOMeSports. Today we are casting a replay brought to us by Team Liquid Pro. And speaking of Team Liquid, we have spawning in the upper right hand corner of Daybreak, the German Zerg, in the red trunks, none other than Liquid's own TLO. And in the lower left hand corner of the map, the fellow German is on the team ESC Icy Box. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Goody. And an exciting matchup here. Heart of the Swarm has changed a lot of things from Wings of Liberty. If you have not been paying attention to the likes of tournaments such as MLG's Winter Championships, where the whole Winter Championship tournament will be determined by Heart of the Swarm, which will be being released like a couple of days before that tournament actually occurs. So right now qualifiers are occurring in the beta, which is actually insane to be thinking about, but we have players like TLO, like Goody, like pretty much every single pro who played Wings of Liberty, transitioning over into Heart of the Swarm and figuring new things out every day. It's a whole variety of different builds that are possible, but if we're looking at Goody right now, I think it's safe to assume we're probably going to be seeing some mech. It was his trademark style from Wings of Liberty, if you haven't heard of Goody before. And if you haven't heard of Goody before, then I encourage you definitely to check out some of his VODs on ESC.GoOdy. There's plenty of them there, a lot of them free. And Goody's pretty much the godfather of mech in that sense. But his opponent here, TLO, is pretty much the godfather of creativity. You can see him scouting out in the main base, seeing if any proxies are occurring inside of there. A very cautious player, smart player, one of the smartest players I've probably ever seen, and a very innovative, creative Zerg. He was a very innovative and creative Terran. Before he switched over to Zerg, played a little bit of random here and there. I remember seeing some epic Protoss matches where he changed the little bits and pieces of the metagame here and there. But TLO always challenges what is standard, what's the norm, and that is pretty much what makes him such an enjoyable player to watch. But he may have actually gotten an Overlord caught out over here. I do think that's going to be able to survive, but Goody's going to give it his all to try to take that down. Meanwhile, an STV has made it into the main base, going to be doing a routine scouting pattern, try to determine what the Zerg player is up to. And it's pretty important early to see if he's going for any type of gas, you know, pool gas openers. If aggression's coming your way, could get it pretty deadly pretty quickly. But, of course, TLO here is going for more of an economic opener, getting on his first 2 queens, which are going to enable him to get his larva production up very quickly. And we'll have to see if he transitions over to 4 queens after that to try and spread his creep across the map. Meanwhile, Goody is definitely trying to get this Overlord, splitting up the 2 Marines, using the barracks as a spotter. It's a technique that is carried over from Wings of Liberty and is very, very valuable to the Terran player if they're able to eliminate this first Overlord. And it's going to be very annoying for TLO because he's not going to be able to see any type of pushes moving out from this area. And Goody's definitely going to like that. Goody has added on additional command center, so he's actually going for a 3 command center opening after his 2 gases. Currently only has 2 harvesters on 1 gas. I'm sure he'll fix that quickly. TLO has scouted this out, and he must assume that there's got to be a natural. Got to be something at the natural. But of course, since he doesn't have that Overlord, he can't confirm it. So Goody hasn't actually made any type of attacking units so far, and this is a very interesting approach to the TVZ matchup. Zerg often goes for an opener that is macro economically targeted. So that means that they're going to be doing something that means that involves getting a lot of drones out. And you can see the drone count is now slightly higher for TLO to Goody, but of course Goody opted for the command center directly after the barracks. And I'm actually not sure TLO knows that there's something at the natural. He may think that there's incoming aggression here, because why else would he have built this spine crawler? There's not a whole lot of reason for defense, and there he goes. He cancels the spine crawl immediately, sees the fact that the tech has not started just yet for Goody, and no type of 1 base pressure is incoming. Meanwhile, he hasn't scouted out that the engineering base is being dropped here, but this is an interesting tactic from Goody to say, I'm keeping you to 2 bases, and even if you come at me with pressure off of those 2 bases, I feel like I'm going to be prepared to defend this. And his choice is going to be initially Hellions here. Will he add on an armory to transition into Hellbats at some point? Initially, he's going to go for the starport with a tech lab. So this could be a Banshee. Could involve some type of Banshee play, potentially, but it could also be something completely different. I have no clue. Could switch the factory back over as well. Who knows? Hellbats are very popular. That's the only reason I say an army may be coming out, or he may be switching it over to focus on, you know, getting blue flame and increase the damage output of the Hellions. But regardless here, TLO's got his 4 gases up and teching up to lair, so very likely he's going for mutas. And it's interesting to see he didn't scout the engineering bay, but he has no intention of doing so because there are roaches moving across the map. Daybreak, about to see the light. He knows nothing has moved out yet. He can assume that this is a 3rd command center. TLO is pushing in for the victory. And looking at the roach count, 8 roaches to 1 marauder, 4 hellions. GoOdy better get an armory out, because I think he's going to need the hellbats to fend this off. But he's building a lot of bunkers, and you know, if TLO can't do a lot of pressure with this, stuck on the 2 bases, can't expand to the 3rd, he's going to be very frustrated. That still has not been taken out. He is going for an infestation pit, so this definitely is not going to be mutas, and GoOdy has never swapped over his barracks, so no Reaper speed. Got me a little confused. This could just be Hellion Banshee. I mean, he's getting an engineering bay now, probably for muted defense. I was gonna say he already has one, but it's at the 3rd base, and TLO actually can't do anything. Not seeing those two bunkers, and with the Banshee now moving out, those roaches are going to be deflected easy peasy. He is aware, however, that there is no 3rd base taken, so he knows potentially that there's 3 command centers going on, and okay, no bio, just mech. I like it, and I also like Mr. Innovator himself, Nidus Network, coming on the way for TLO, and he's making swarm hosts. So will he go for something involving swarm hosts in the main? This is a very peculiar and interesting decision. Infestation pit not being used for infestors, being used instead for swarm host. Even getting the upgrade to increase. Let's learn together. Increase the lifetime of locust by 10 seconds. I love that the observation point points out where the Nidus worm is now, and you can see what I'm seeing. The Nidus is morphing. There's swarm hosts ready to come. 2 queens as well. This is a little nuts. A little nuts, to say the least. GoOdy's expecting some type of muta transition. In fact, looking at what GoOdy's seen so far, it's absolutely nothing, except that creep is coming his way, and now swarm hosts are fast approaching. Alright, this is nuts. TLO's even dropping creep at his front. He's getting his +1 Zerg missile attacks upgrade, which will help the damage output of his queens. Will that help the upgrades of his swarm hosts? I'm assuming it will, but oh, his queens are going to play dual roles here, not only for transfusion, but they're going to be able to attack the banshees. And the Locusts do have missile attack upgrades, so his +1 upgrades is going to affect those, and these are targeting down that bunker very, very quickly here. Tank is on the way. This should be able to hold off any type of queen pressure at the front. I mean, tanks do great against queens. How great are they against swarm hosts? And what can GoOdy actually see? What does he know? He had to scan to figure out what was going on. Good thing the swarm hosts don't hit air anymore, or else this Banshee will probably be targeted down extremely fast, just like the bunker. Oh man, GoOdy's going to be hard-pressed to hold this off. He's got another tank position where that can focus down as well. It does! So the Hellions can't do anything to deflect them. The Banshee can't do anything to deflect these. Roaches are now moving in. Queens are moving in addition to this. And tanks are now shelling SCVs. GoOdy does have the worker count lead. Look at the units killed. TLO's killed more. And the swarm hosts are going to continue to build units. TLO can just rally them into the Nidus network, move them across the map. They're moving into the middle of the line now. And his only choice is to lift the command center. There's nothing he can actually do to deflect this. TLO instead's moving up the hive, and GoOdy's forced to GG. TLO wins. And there's no cool loadout screen for when the player wins from replay. But regardless of that, we see TLO once again doing some creative, fantastic plays, utilizing Swarm Host to get the victory. And this will not be the last we see of TLO's cast from me, DOOMeSports, because I will be casting more from his replay pack. And we'll be hosting all this on SC2Links.com YouTube channel, youtube.com/SC2Links. There's a bunch of old Wings of Liberty content on there. And it's a new year, it's a new game. Out with the old, in with the new. More Heartless Swarm content will be uploaded on a more than likely daily basis. So hold me to that promise. If you don't see that, you can tweet at me at DOOMeSports. Let me know how you like this game. Follow SC2Links on Twitter at SC2Links. And ladies and gentlemen, that was the cast of the day. And I can't wait to bring you more action later. Peace!